Okay, this lesson is about what we can do to manage megacities and try and reduce the problems associated with these megacities. So our goal is to learn about urban planning. It's really one of the most important sort of qualifications you can go in, because cities with a lot of people living in them so close together can cause a lot of issues. So let's have a look at some of the solutions to those problems. First of all, well, what is a megacity? Well, it's a city with a population of over 10 million. And one of the key characteristics is that it's overpopulated, which means the population is too big for the resources there. Now, this is a picture of Tokyo. It is a mega city. It has 33 million people, so that's everyone in Australia living in one city. The only problem is that this is not overpopulated. Tokyo is a very rich country, and the city itself is able to sustain itself. The problems normally occur in developing countries. So megacities, don't think all megacities, there are issues. There are some in rich countries, but it's the one in poor countries that's the problem, and it's mainly to do with the number of people living there and moving from rural areas so quickly. So what are the problems? Well, these are some, and we've talked about these in class: overcrowding, poor sanitation, lack of clean water, poor provision of electricity, few schools, hospitals, and even health services, informal employment, poor roads, and high crime rates. Now, some of the solutions to these problems can range from quite radical to some quite, sort of higher, thinking outside the box. So the first one is to destroy the slums completely. Some people might think, oh, that's a bit harsh, but remember, these buildings are here illegally. They don't have any rights by law. So what's happened, particularly in Nigeria, in Lagos, they've cleared some of the slums because they're in ideal positions. So they are redeveloped, but not for local people, but for rich people. So in Nigeria, they've just literally cleared slums. So they've told people you've got 24 hours notice, and the government come in and clear them. Another idea is self-help schemes. Now, what happens? The government doesn't rebuild. They give money, or they give building materials to locals, who then rebuild their houses, the streets. This is a good example in front of you. Same street, different times. So on the left, that's what it was before. On the right, that's what it looked like after. Even stuff like a coat of paint, paving goes a long way to help improve conditions. Then we have NGOs. Now, an NGO is a non-government organisation, like a charity, and what they might do is come and look at a particular issue. So like we said, one of the big issues in these slums is poor water supplies. So what NGOs do, they might improve the water supply. So by building a well might help. It might be rebuilding the water pipes. Again, this is going to improve the locals, because having clean water is going to help people's health. That's one reason why people die, particularly children, at a young age, is because they have poor water supplies. Now, the last one is encourage slum entrepreneurs. Now, an entrepreneur is someone who has a small business but makes lots of money out of it. Now, in some places, in Kibera in Kenya, in Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya, there have been a couple of issues with people travelling on trains and going to the bathroom and chucking their waste outside onto the train tracks. Someone's come up with an idea that if they're collecting that waste, then in bags, and as we've said, some of these houses don't have toilets, they charge people, a couple of cents to pick up their waste, and they've made millions out of it. So encouraging small scale businesses such as the one I've mentioned has actually helped not only the locals, but encourage people to get more money. And what do they do with that money? They make their businesses bigger, employ more people, so it helps not just individuals but communities. and that's going to be the best way to really help people living in those slums. So there we have it. There's some solutions to living in mega cities. Okay, thanks.